Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's round 7 of the RMFantasy SXperts show. I am Chase.
And I'm Charles.
And we are headed to Arlington, Chuck.
That's right.
Triple Crown.
Triple Crown should be good. It's exciting.
I love the Triple Crowns.
Yeah.
I say that as just probably a selfish fan, but I just get the top dudes out there 3 times.
Yeah.
And we're going back to West Coast.
Yeah, West Coast, great way to mix it up.
Get the Deegs and Boomer back out there.
Yeah. As soon as I learned the East Coast riders, now we're already West Coast.
I know.
It's crazy.
It's strange. They did 4 West Coast rounds and then just 2 East. Now we're back to West and then right back to East. It's got to be strange for the West Coast guys.
Yeah, if you're a rider, that's got to be a weird feeling.
4 weeks on, 2 off, then you just come back for 1, and then you're back off again. It's kind of bizarre. But remember, if you have not yet, get subscribed to the RMFantasy YouTube channel. Charles and I come to each and every week to help you make your picks. We give you stats on the riders and the tracks, and we just want to help you score as many points as you can so you can potentially win some weekly prizes, which we give away every week. 10 amazing prizes. We also do grand prizes, and we have fantasy cash. In fact, we have a photo of some fans wearing their RM shirts that I guess they bought using their fantasy cash.
Pretty cool.
What a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Yep, and we are the official game of Monster Energy Supercross, so get signed up if you have not already.
That's right. We're also giving away 20 tickets to Birmingham, so leave us a comment down below if you can make it and how many tickets you need.
Yeah. Weekly prizes. Charles, what do we have? What did we give away last week?
Last week, so winners from last week, we had AJ Boren 126. He had the MSR riding gear set.
Nice.
Labweed, he had the Tusk spending spree. And C Stone Year 14, that was the Bridgestone tire set. So this week, giving away
what are we giving away?
10 weekly prizes. So you have 10 FMF t-shirts for first place. Second place is going to be the Alpine Star gear set. Third place, the Pirelli tire set. Fourth place, Michelin. Fifth, Fox. Sixth, ASV. Seventh, 100%. Eighth, Rocky Mountain. ATVMC. Ninth, Torque 1. And 10th, you got some goodies or a spending spree from a Cherry Beast.
Nice. Let's take a look at our KTM leaderboards. It's BS5 maintains the top spot from last week at 374. Mama Bishop at 366. And then Moto EV 873 at 364. Chuck, how many points are you at now? Have you broken the 200-point barrier?
I'm below it. I only gained 42 last weekend.
All right, I got 55, so each week I'm just slowly chipping away, or not even chipping away, I'm just adding to that little cush I got. But you and I have not had any just like stellar weeks.
No, yeah, the top guys this week,
we need to figure this out.
127 points each.
Perfect scores. I got Webb right. I picked him. I almost swapped Webb out for Sexton after qualifying.
Yeah.
But I stuck to it, and he won. You got Kenny right? That was your one right.
Yeah, and then
pick.
I had Sexton and Webb swapped.
Okay, and man, Savachi, we said he was a riskier pick for Wildcard, and he goes ahead and he just gets 13th.
Yeah.
What a punk.
Making us look bad.
Well, here's why you're playing fantasy. Grand prize at the end of the year. We give away 3 race prep KTM dirt bikes. We have a 450 SXF for first, 300 SX for second, SX E5 for that young rider in third, and then we do a trip out to Fastway. You get to go see their facility, do a private riding lesson with a pro. We do 5th place Dunlop MX34 tires for a year. 6th place is Stasic e-bike and accessories. 7th place Motion Pro tool package. 8th is a Pro Honda prize pack. 9th MSR gear and casual hookup. And then 10th is Supercross video game console and 4K TV. Yeah, it was a good weekend. Charles, 250 highlights. What do we got to talk about here?
Yeah, so right now we have the Fox Racing recap. 250 highlights. I mean, it was a spicy night. I don't know if anything controversial happened, but
yeah, me neither. What could have happened? Controversial?
Man.
Just give me your thoughts though. Actually, hold on real quick. Here up on the table, these are your results that you and I keep forgetting to do this.
Yep.
Here's your top 5. Webb gets his first win.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, we're 6 rounds in. Just gets his first win. It was Kenny second, Sexton third, Malcolm fourth, Jay Coop fifth, Savachi the wild card.
Yep.
Back to you.
6 rounds, 5 winners. Back to me.
Really?
So
Kenny hasn't even won yet.
It's so crazy.
Malcolm is going to be the guy that makes it possible to see more than 5. It's always 5 winners. When was the last time we had 6? We'll have to research that. I think it's been a while since we have more than 5. But Kenny's got to win one of these things, right? He could win this weekend in Arlington.
We'll get into that in a little bit. But, yeah, There's been more red flags in the last couple of years than my ex-girlfriend had. So
Oh,
anyway.
Hey. They're saying the same thing about you, Chuck.
I'm sure they are.
All right,
I care too much. I'm too giving.
Oh,
I'm
right.
Too nice.
Like your red flags are just all these amazing attributes, and you don't get why.
Anyway, this was a great track for passing. You saw a lot of great things on
Redirection there. Okay.
But yeah, the restart in the main for the 250s. That I don't know. But it's a bummer for Max because he would have had it if it would have been 7 more seconds. He would have had the win because they would have ended the race. But since there's time on the clock, they have a rule where you have to do at least 3 more laps.
Yep.
So they had the green, the white, and then.
Well, here's the deal. For anyone that's wondering what the heck is going on, because nobody really knew that they had changed the rules. Kind of like in the past, if 90% of the race was done and the red flag came out, that would have ended the race. So in this scenario, red flag comes out, everyone is thinking race is over, Anstey wins. Newer rule starting in 2024, so last year, the race goes to the checkers. No matter what, there will be a checkered flag. If time is expired, as you just said, they just checkered flag, it's out, and that's the order they finish in.
Yep.
But because there was 7 seconds left, they have to do a restart, and as you alluded to, it has to be a minimum 3 laps. So even the riders, it was like pandemonium. The riders down there didn't even know what was going on. They were on the starting gate. They didn't know what they were going to restart, and they all thought it was just going to be like, hey, we're just going to finish where we were at. And then that happens. And I feel bad it sucks for Kitchen, because he even stated like he doesn't feel like he won that race, which, let's be honest, he really didn't. He did, but he didn't. And he acknowledged that, which is fine. And Anstey said, hey, I would have done the same thing. It sucks, it's a bummer. I just feel bad for Anstey because, dude, he lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like 7 seconds cost him 10 grand, 20 grand. I don't know. What's a win bonus for these 250 guys? 50 grand? And then if you have any other sponsors or something?
Yeah, probably about that.
And then second's probably like maybe 15. Like it drops off significantly after first.
That's crazy.
So yeah, maybe Kitch will be nice and send him a check, but I highly doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah. Anyway, other news, McAdoo, bummer deal there.
Yeah, big old gash to the face. Pretty gnarly. 450s. Savacci's lucky to be alive after that crash. Benny Bloss, unfortunately, had another crash. That was in the whoops. But, I mean, let's just get to the old elephant in the room, though. What is Sexton doing? Do you think he was trying to time the gate?
I don't know. I heard that he saw Plessinger flinch or something.
I watched it back, man. I don't see it. Either way, you can't just dump the clutch. Like, usually when a rider flinches, you flinch, but you stop it in time.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time accepting the fact that Sexton truly just tried to time the gate, because if you're in the points lead, why would you ever take that risk? Why would you bank on that? It just doesn't make any sense to me that Sexton would think, hey guys, because he would have told somebody, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Sexton's going to go to the line and just in his own mind say, I'm going to try and time this gate. I'm going to see how that works out. He would have had to discuss it with his team, you would think. And if that's the case, I can't imagine his team was like, yeah, man, that sounds like a good idea. Let's try and time the gate.
Yeah.
There's just no world I see that happening.
Well, not only that, but then, a couple corners in, hitting somebody and then going down. Like,
it leads to more problems.
He's better than that.
Well, here's the funny part is Sexton he has these phenomenal rides. He came all the way up to 3rd.
Yeah.
Chase is at his best when he can just shut off the mind and just ride as fast as he possibly can for the 20 minutes plus 2 laps.
Yeah.
When he has to think, in other words, when Sexton's in the lead, or maybe he's in second trying to catch first place, that's when he makes these mistakes. Mm-hmm. But he can come from the back of the pack going wide open for the whole main event and not make any mistake. Okay, he ran into that guy. Circumstances.
Yep.
But I have just come to the conclusion that Chase Sexton is in his own mind. I don't think Chase Sexton shook the tuck the front bug. He's still tucking the front, just metaphorically speaking, in different ways. There's even a meme about it, about being a Valentine.
I'm not going to touch that, but that said, that is our Fox Racing recap here.
Sorry, and Webb is just like, thanks, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just give free points to Cooper Webb, which is what you just did. You can't do it.
Yeah, now they're tied.
Now they're tied, and Webb is getting better. His confidence is as high as it's ever been. And when we talk about segment times coming up in just a little bit, I really don't think that Sexton just has, Sexton still I think is the fastest guy, but it's not by as much as I think we all think it is.
That's true.
We'll get to there. But before we do that, let's have our ASV guest caller. This week, we got a guest that is near and dear to our hearts, and let's get his thoughts so far on this year. It's Mr. Trey Canard. Chase Sexton. I don't know how he just drilled the gate that hard. I think Jason Thomas brought up a good point that, like, normally when somebody flinches next to you, which I thought for a split second that AP did flinch. I watched it back a million times. I didn't see anybody flinch. But what JT was saying is that when somebody flinches, you'll flinch, but you always kind of catch yourself. In this scenario, Sexton just flat out dumped the clutch. So, one, do you think he tried to time the gate? Two, have you ever done that where nobody flinched next to you, but for whatever reason, your brain just said go, and the gate was still up?
I don't know. I mean, there's been some drama over the last few years about being able to hear the gate drop. There's a big air release, and
it was Glendale Tomac. They were thinking Tomac did that, right? Because
and you rewind back to San Francisco last year. Chase pulls that ridiculous hole shot.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, that's total speculation. But sometimes you just if you hear something, it's like when you're that keyed up and you want that whole shot that bad, your instinct is to go. And so,
did you, when you raced, could you hear the air? Like, was it the same as it is now?
I don't know if you could, I mean, there's a reason why. I believe there's a couple reasons why you see people lining up against the box, right? One, you have that open area around yourself on your left and right, where you're not going to have another rider. So that's helpful, but that is the closest location to that air release. So you can see, I think 2 years ago, I mean, it was like every single number one qualifier kind of, no matter where we were, no matter what the first turn looked like, it was like right next to the box was it. I don't remember ever hearing it. I remember Daytona, there for some reason, I think because there was no doghouse at some point, they had their own special gate at Daytona, and they just had like one transponder in this little box. And so I remember being able to hear that one, but I wasn't quick enough to kind of like catch on that that's what was happening. So I don't know, again, that's just speculation,
right?
As to why England would just pummel the gate, but that's the only thing I can come up with. Either that, or we're riders, we make mistakes, and these
sure happen. All right, here it is. Track trends. Chuck, what do you see on the track?
Man, I kind of like this layout here. So
why?
I like the sand. So coming down the start straight, I love how many times it crosses anyway, but coming down the start straight back into the sand, it's like you're going straight for a second and then going into a turn.
It's a pretty tight right-handed turn.
So
I do like that it's a long start, probably the longest we've seen all year. And for Triple Crowns, I'm an advocate for that. I think longer starts are safer because it gives these riders more time to spread out. And I could be totally wrong. I just don't feel like we see as much carnage on these long straights.
Yeah.
So for a Triple Crown, I think that's ideal.
We got a nice sweeping corner. Other than that.
Okay, here I have, I'll talk about it when we get to Mookie. But yeah, to me, it looks, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Man, there's like 7 bowl turns or 7 180 turns. It could be a great track for racing. We'll find out.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, well, with that being said, let's get to it. Bridgestone top contenders. All right, top contenders. Look, we already talked about Sexton and the whole trying to time the gate thing. I don't know. Here's the deal. Okay. Sexton was the fastest guy. His fastest lap was about 0.4, so 0.4 faster than Roczen's fastest lap.
Yep.
But he was only fastest in 2 of the 8 sectors, which was surprising to me because they had that graphic now where it shows the track and all the different sectors. So there was obviously on that lap specifically where he was 0.4 faster, he must have just been lights out in 2 of those spots.
Yep.
But then I guess when you look at it, you might think, well, how is he the fastest guy? That's just like the one fastest lap, but he must have been faster in most segments.
Yeah, because, somebody else could be faster in segments, but it could be one lap this segment, another lap another
so he was
segment.
like second or third or whatever. All I know is he was the fastest in just 2 of the 8 sectors, but he was 0.4 faster than Kenny and Webb. And look, he won the overall in Glendale, but he didn't win one of the races. He went 3-3-2. He does have one overall Triple Crown win in 7 tries on a 450, so it's not like he's just been lights out in these Triple Crowns. And just when we thought he fixed the start thing, because he hole-shotted the last Triple Crown race, and then he hole-shotted in Tampa, threw that away, and then he hole-shotted the second practice in qualifying. So you're just thinking, dude, Sexton's figured it out. And then he hits the gate.
Yep.
All right, what do you have on Webb? So, I don't know, go on Cooper Webb.
All right, so moving on, we've got Cooper Webb, tied at 121 points with Chase Sexton. Coming off this win, things are looking good for him, but I do have some questions. So last year, he was the second best average finisher behind Eli Tomac at the Triple Crown rounds. He had an average of 4.33. This year, though, my question is the starts. So last year, he was starting out averaging 4.78 at the Triple Crowns. This year, overall on the starts, he's averaging 6.75. So even though he's doing really well, he didn't get the best start this weekend. It took him...
Yeah, he's kind of been all over the map.
Yeah.
Like this last weekend, he ripped a good start. But at the Triple Crown, if we look at his starts there, he started first, he hole-shotted, but then he went 11-6. So he just hasn't been quite as consistent as the next rider we're going to talk about, Ken Roczen, who's been crushing the starts. And here's the deal. When you look at Webb, or if you look at Roczen has got some of the best sprint speed, right? He's really good early in the races. If this was a just 12-minute race like we have in Triple Crowns, Kenny probably wins that race. Webb does his best work in any of these any race with the last 5 minutes to go. Like he's so good at just staying there, finding lines, catching on, making that pass late. In these shorter races, maybe it's not his strong suit, but we got to talk about Webb here. He was the fastest in 4 of the 8 sectors on the track last week. He was faster in more sectors than Sexton was. So I honestly think this year, though, we're seeing more speed out of Webb all around.
Yeah.
He's just got to clean up the starts. He's not going to be my pick to win just because of the starts, but obviously he's going to be on the podium for everybody. But when you get to Ken Roczen, who has been crushing the starts, and you take away Tampa, where obviously he had that lapper incident, his average finish without Tampa is 2.6. He got 3rd overall in Glendale. So Triple Crowns are perfect for Kenny.
Yeah.
He can sprint for 12 minutes. He doesn't have to worry about the last 7 or 8 minutes of a main event, which is where Webb got him way late. And he obviously has the sprint speed too, because him and Webb are 23 seconds ahead of Malcolm when they cross the line, which is why you and I both picked Kenny to win this weekend.
Yep.
He's swept one of the residencies at Glendale back in the COVID days. He's won Triple Crowns. Dude, I think Kenny's going to win one of these things. He's got to by the end of the year.
Yeah.
I feel like this Arlington race could be a really good chance for that.
I'm feeling the same way.
Where are you putting Anderson, 4th or 5th? Or are you out? Between him and Stewart and Cooper right now, it's like a battle royale for...
I actually put him in 4th. So with that, he has this weird pattern, 3rd, and then another result, 3rd, another result, 3rd. So he might be due for a 3rd. I don't know.
He would have gone, Sexton would have passed him anyway.
Yeah.
If Anderson wasn't blocked past him, all that crap. That would have been 2 podiums in a row for Anderson potentially. But it would have been top 5. Yeah. He went down the stand, right?
Yep. With 2 laps to go.
Oh, bummer.
Went down, ended up 6th.
Okay.
Yeah, but in Glendale, he was 11, 6, 8 for 7th overall. Not exactly what I want to be seeing, but like I say, sometimes he's up front. So I do think he's a good pick for this.
Yeah, he was good in Glendale. What's up?
And check this
Oh, no,
out.
Glendale Hill was terrible. I'm thinking of the wrong race.
Yeah, I don't know which one, but he's only started out of the top 5 twice this season. That's per gate drop.
No, his starts have been really good. Like, you got to put Anno in your top 5. It's just whether or not, at this point, you're going to put him ahead of Malk, which he would have beat Malcolm straight up if he didn't go down. So I think Anderson really is just like your 4th best guy right now.
Yep.
Like, that's where he belongs. Malcolm Stewart started in the top 5 in 3 of the last 5 gate drops. His best lap was a half second off of Kenny and almost a second off of Sexton. I think that win made us maybe over-expect a little bit out of Malcolm. But here's what I realized. If you look at the track in Tampa, it had, and this is going to tie back into Arlington, it had that whoop section with the rhythm lane before it. Malcolm was almost a second better in the whoop section. The track offered Malcolm Stewart an opportunity to be faster than everybody else because of that line and how good he is in the whoops. If a track doesn't offer that, I think the Malcolm we just saw is the Malcolm we get, where he's a top 5 guy, but he's not going to be as fast as these other 3. Just because this last weekend's track, you're coming into the whoop sections out of a left-hand turn. They didn't have a lot of momentum, so Malcolm was just another guy in the whoops. There was nothing that he could use to separate himself and be faster than everybody else. That's kind of my take. But if you look at the track map, check that out. Left-hand turn across the start straight, rhythm lane. So they're probably going to go single, double, into a whoop section. So this will be similar to what we just saw in Tampa, where you're going to get good entrance speed into the whoop section. So we could see a repeat of Tampa Mookie, and he's got 3 tries to get it done. All I'm saying is Malcolm would not shock me to be on the podium if he gets some good starts because of that. That's my take.
You heard it here first.
Justin Cooper, what do you got?
Justin Cooper, 6th place. I feel like, he's a good start. He's a guy who can get a start.
Yeah.
We just need to make sure that, he stays up there and
he's not jumping the whoops?
Yeah.
I asked him about that on press day on Friday.
What'd he say?
On Friday, because the track walk, because it was a day race, they actually did track walk on Friday at 5. I asked Jay Coop about the whoops. I didn't like his answer, though.
What'd he say?
It was like lukewarm. I said, hey, man, there's a lot of talk about you in the whoops. And a lot of people are just wondering, why are you jumping them so much more than anyone else? Because we've been seeing that's where you're giving up the most time and getting past is in whoop sections. And he just said, yeah, he's like, we've talked about it. The team and I, definitely there's no excuse for me to jump the whoops in a heat race when they're still good. He's like, I need to be blitzing there. But then we reevaluate for the main event. And he said, I like to use the whoops as a resting point, kind of a place where I can kind of catch my breath a little bit. It's like, well, Cooper, you can't say the whoops are a good place to catch your breath when you're getting past there every time. Yeah. So to me, maybe he just didn't want to give me the real answer, which I already know that he has told other people. I'm not going to name names.
Okay.
But I've heard it, and I know from reliable sources, he just got a mental block in the whoops. It's a fear thing. He just has a fear thing about the whoops, and he just has a hard time committing.
Yeah.
Because you saw Kenny and Coop, they both started to jump the whoops.
Yeah.
Did you notice that they jumped them once or twice and then went right back to skimming? Because I think they just knew that wasn't faster.
Right.
Blitzing's the way to go.
Yeah.
Because Cooper jumped them a few times, went back to skimming. There you have it.
There we have it.
And here's the other stat about Coop, though. It is, where was it? A1, he started 3rd and finished 7th. A2, he went from 1st to 6th. Tampa, he went from 2nd to 4th, which means he has 4 starts so far where he started better than 10th.
Yep.
But he's only finished better than where he started 1 time.
That was last weekend.
That was Yeah. So he has started outside the top 10 and moved forward. But Detroit was his first start in the top 10 where he moved forward. He gets a good start and then he fades.
Yep.
That's exactly what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Maybe Arlington could be different if he can figure out the whoops. So he is my least favorite option right now, pending none of these guys go down, because if Anderson doesn't crash, Jay Coop does not get 5th.
Yep.
There you have it.
Agreed.
All right.
So that does it for our top contenders. Next up, we've got our Works Connection Wildcard Watch. All right, so first up, we've got Justin Barcia. Now, before you lose your mind,
Being rude to the man.
I know, I feel bad, but his average finish per gate drop is 8.38, so that makes him look good right there. Also, in Glendale, last Triple Crown, he finished 12th place, but we had 3 other top 5 guys that were in it, and now they're out.
Yeah, and his last 2 finishes, he went 6th in Tampa, 7th last week. I'm out on Barcia. I think 9th, Justin Hill, his average start per gate drop is 10.25. He went 8, 10, 7 for 6th overall in Glendale. That was his best result of the year. But he's finished within 1 spot of 9th 5 times. So he's good.
I like it.
Brandis?
Brandis, last 4 gate drops, 8, 12, 8, and 9.
Ooh.
So in the ballpark there. Started 6th last weekend and faded to 8th, but with it being more of a sprint, maybe he doesn't fade back that far.
Plessinger, okay, this one shocked me. Outside of his 2 DNFs, he went 10-7-9 for 9th overall in Glendale. His overall finishes so far 9-9, 8-9, taking away those 2 bad races. What the hell? This is a guy that was your red plate holder last year and won a race.
Mm-hmm.
This is
I expect him to be a top 5 guy.
This is worse returning year than when Anderson 22 won all those races against Tomac, and then the next year you had nothing.
Yep.
This is what Anderson won 7 races that year, but he hasn't even sniffed a top 5. He hole shotted last week and just went backwards. Don't know. I heard he was sick, but we love you, AP. But what is going on here?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem right.
Savatgy.
So Savatgy. Season average per gate drop, he's 13.38. He's kind of all over the map for me, not consistent enough. So 17, 14, 14 for 15th overall at Glendale. You do have a few guys out, so maybe it bumps him up.
Yeah.
7th in Tampa, 13th last week. He got the wild card last week. I mean, I don't know, his spread.
Well, he also crashed really bad in qualifying. But here's the deal. His average start is 12.25. I'm just not going to bank on that to be good enough to get you a 9th overall. He's got 3 of them. Yep. He hasn't been consistent with finishes or starts. So I'm not I take it back. I don't know. He started 9th 3 times, but then his 15th twice. But he started 9, 19, 13 in Glen. So yeah, his starts are just kind of all over the place. Okay, obviously stats-wise, AP and Ferrandis are your 2 best choices, but which one are you going to pick between those 2? That's the real question, my friend. Let's just do it. A Cherubies lock him in.
A Cherubies lock him in. Here it is.
Let's get your picks, Chuck. Let me grab these other cards here.
Okay.
I cannot wait to see what you got. Well, first of all, who's going to be your wild card?
I'm about to blow your mind right now. You're not going to like any of this.
What?
So I am actually going to put Barcia in the wild card. And hear me out. The only reason is because of those other guys being out and how he finished last time. That's my only reasoning there. So
okay.
We'll see how the day goes. If it's looking bad, I'm definitely going to swap him out.
Well, I know you and I both have Kenny to win, so let's just get that out there. Who do you have for second?
Second place, I have Cooper Webb.
Yeah.
Sexton third. Anderson fourth.
Oh, I got Justin Cooper there. Webb.
Yeah.
Who do you have fourth?
Anderson.
Fifth?
Stewart.
Ooh, okay. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to go Roczen, Webb, Sexton. I mean, how do you not have that as your podium? Anderson, but I am going to go Justin Cooper.
Ooh.
for 5th overall just because his starts have been pretty freaking good. He's just fading a little bit. My wild card's going to be Ferrandis.
All right.
I just think AP's last few starts have been good, so I'm going to trust him a little bit more.
Yep.
And that's all I got. Have you seen the memes, dude?
I have seen the memes.
We've got some good ones in there. A lot of them about Chase Sexton.
Mm-hmm.
Some about
Some
Max
of them
Anstey.
savage.
I know. The Valentine's one is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll tuck that front end for you.
Yep.
Oh, man. It's just, what are we doing? Chase Sexton. Like, if he doesn't win this title, this is all anyone's going to talk about. But I really think Webb is just, I think Webb is, I don't know.
He's too consistent.
Looking at how good Webb was on those sector times, it's like, yeah, Sexton did have the fastest lap, but Kenny and Webb were right there. So this is not a walk in the park for Sexton. I think he's learned that.
Yep.
Webb is better than he was last year. So who would you put your money on for a title right now? If you had to put all your money on red or white, black, whatever.
I'd be putting it on blue, on Webb.
On Webb?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm with you, man. Webb is just so strong mentally. And we're 6 rounds in. We've got 11 more to go.
Yeah.
Anything can happen, but still. I would love to see Kenny win this weekend, claw back some of those points. Comment down below. What are your picks? Who do you got? Can Kenny get it done this weekend? We think he can. But also let us know what your picks on the 250s. Love to hear it. As always, we appreciate you tuning in for this show. And remember, subscribe. Get signed up for Fantasy if you've never played. It's the best thing ever. Charles?
Yeah. Catch you guys next week.
All right, we'll see you then.